Hi. I'd like to sign up for EDH tonight.
The night is Modern Night. That's right. I left my Modern deck at home, so today I'm playing an EDH-inspired deck instead, with my commander, my companion, Lutri the Spellchaser. But with Lutri, it's all the same, because you are only allowed one copy of each non-land card in your deck to get Otter power. And as if that wasn't a big enough stipulation to build around in a 60-card format, I decided to make it harder. I'm staying in my companion's color pair, and the cost of today's deck is not to exceed $100.
Shut the front door.
There were certain cards that I really wanted to play in today's deck. But I just couldn't stretch the budget. Surprisingly, things actually came together pretty well, despite these exclusions. We've built a unique Izzet shell with solid removal and interaction, some unusual creature choices, and some cheese
I like Gouda.
to nab free wins. We're balling on a budget, so please leave your pretentious fetch lands at home. Competitive Modern for $100, they said it couldn't be done. Let's see if they're right. We'll take the play. We're actually jumping into this league in Game 2 of Round 1 after keeping an opening 7 Game 1 without counter magic and promptly getting burned out by, you guessed it, burn. I don't want to make the same mistake again, so I mull my opening 7 this game. Start with a basic island, pass the turn. Opponent with Sunbaked Canyon, a Swift Spear. Attack, we're going down to 19. Draw a Storm Curved Coast. We're going to play on our island, and we're going to Spreading Seas the Canyon. We draw into a Consider. They draw for turn, blue mana. Move to combat, swing for 1, and I don't think they have another land. We draw Logic Knot, which is excellent. We'll play out the coast, and we're just going to pass it back. Opponent taps. They found a second land. They start with a Lava Spike. Swift Spear triggers. I'm going to Consider. I'll put the Borrower on top, and we'll let the Spike resolve. And with combat, attacks, and we'll return the Swift Spear to hand. Okay, we draw into a Sulphur Falls. Nice that it won't deal damage. We'll play that out. And I think we're just going to pass back with the Borrower up. Opponent taps. Suspend a Rift Bolt. It's coming back to us. End of turn, we'll flash in our Borrower. Draw into an Oliphant. Probably not going to have time to cast that though. I think we're going to Mountain Cycle the Oliphant, get our basic mountain, put that to hand, move to combat, swing for 3, and we're going to wait one more turn to put Lutri in our hand. They untap, Rift Bolt coming off the stack, target me for 3, I'm going down to 12. Spend another Rift Bolt, and end of turn, I'm going to draw 2 cards. Draw into an Opt, start with an attack for 3. We'll cast our Serum Visions, put Bone Crusher to the bottom, Lightning Bolt on top, play out Fiery Islet, and we're going to put Lutri to our hand. Rift Bolt pointing at us, we're going down to 9 life. Opponent finally draws their 3rd land. Searing Blaze, we'll Spell Snare. Tap, we draw into that bolt, move to combat, swing for 3, opponent's down 6. Fire off a Lightning Bolt, hold Control, cast the Otter. Otter triggers, bolt them, at 6 damage. Game 3, who's the burn deck? I don't think we change anything. Otter has been revealed. Opponent keeps their 7. Unfortunately, I don't think we can keep this one mulligan. And I think we'll keep our 6. Bottom the Arcanist. No, we'll bottom the Saheeli. Opponent with the Wooded Foothills. Fetch. Basic Mountain. And it's our turn. Draw into a Flame of Anor. Unfortunately, I think we have to spend this turn using this Evolving Wilds. If you got an extra 20 bucks to invest in a Scalding Tarn, you would be much better off. Play with fire. They're going to scry 1. We're down to 18. Inspiring Vantage, and they do nothing. We'll fetch end of turn. We'll get a basic island. Drawn to a Sulphur Falls, not bad. Let's play that out. I think we're going to pass it back. 2 mana Boros Charm. We'll snare that. Opponent's up to 5 cards in hand. Plays out a land. Suspends a Rift Bolt. It's coming back our way. We'll untap. Drawn to the Frostboil Snarl. I think we're going to play out Lava Glide Pathway, and we're just going to get aggressive. Play out Bone Crusher. Opponent fetches. Likely a Searing Blaze. Basic Mountain. There it is. They're down to 16. We're down to 15. And we're going to take 3 out the Rift Bolt, going down to 12. 3 cards in their hand. They play out a land. Skewer the Critics. We're down to 9 life. 1 card left in hand. They draw a card, 2 cards in hand. Back our way. Draw Tar Fire. We'll play out our Arcanist. Frostboil Snarl. Nothing to reveal. Pass turn back. Opponent bolts me end of turn. We're down to 6 life. Love to see them draw a creature. Play a Sunbaked Canyon. Boros Charm. We're going down to 2. We're in the danger zone, and I need to find counter magic. Quick. I draw 2 with my Flame of Anor and find just what I'm looking for, a negate, which will protect me from any direct damage. My clock starts to speed up with this Dreadhorde Arcanist, and attack allows me to refire the Lightning Bolt in my graveyard and hit them down to 9 life. My wishes are answered once more when they draw a Goblin Guide, which Tarfire easily dispatches. I draw Preordain, which I get to use twice in the turn with Dreadhorde Arcanist, and find another cantrip and a counterspell. I feel pretty well insulated at this point. Negate fizzles their Lightning Bolt, and I speed up the clock once more with a Scalding Viper on the next turn. An attack, along with Tarfire for the second time, threatens to put the Red Mage down to 2 life, but they take an extra point of damage firing off a Deflecting Palm, which triggers the Viper. I counter the Palm, and they're at 1 life. And now, Scalding Viper is going to trigger off of anything they cast out of their deck, I'm pretty sure. And we're 1-0. All right. We're jumping back in. This is round 2, and we're on the play. Let's reveal the Otter once more. Otter is in the building, and I think the 7's fine. Lacking removal, but I do think it's a keep. All right, our opponent starts on a mulligan to 5. We're going to start on our Tributary. Pass turn. They start with a Xander's Lounge, back our way. Draw into an Arcanist. We don't have any 1-drops, but I think it's worthwhile getting that out. Pass turn back. Basic Plains into a Leyline Binding. They take our Arcanist. Untap, draw into a basic island. I think we're just going to play out the island pass turn. Misty Rainforest. End of turn, we're going to cycle the Oliphant. We'll get our basic Mountain. Cycle the Sandbar. Get a Consider. Cast the Consider. Maybe a Channeler on top. I think I'm going to leave that on top. Based on what I've seen up to this point, I'm guessing my opponent is on 4-color Rhinos, which means effects that bounce creatures, like is the case with Aether Channeler and Brazen Borrower, are quite effective means of interacting with their game plan. We'll untap. Draw into a Borrower. We're going to start off our turn with an Iteration. Okay, unfortunately, we didn't hit a land, and we can't cycle the Lorien Revealed from exile. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put the Lorien Revealed to hand. We'll put the Counterspell on the bottom, and the Flame of Anor in exile. I'm going to cycle the Lorien Revealed, and we're going to get a basic island, and we're going to put that into play. Opponent's paying costs, end of turn, Violent Outburst, resolves Rhinos into play, and we're going to Petty Theft, end of turn. Opponent moves to combat, attacks, take 4, 3, Shardless Agent, Cascade, 2 more Rhinos in play. Draw into a Bone Crusher, and from here I think I'm going to play out the Harmonic Prodigy and the Channeler. We're going to return a Rhino to hand, and we're going to return another Rhino to hand. All right, 2 Footfalls are dealt with, and now we can gain control of the last Rhino in play. Opponent attacks for 4. We'll take it, go down to 12. Play on a land, and they suspend another Footfalls. All right, we draw into a Logic Knot, which isn't bad. I think we're just going to move to combat, attack for 1. Opponent takes it, they're down to 17. And tap, Rhinos down to 3, begin combat, and we're going to gain control of their Rhino. Prowess triggers, thank you very much. Opponent plays out a land, it's coming back our way. Draw into an island, we're going to play that out. We're going to stomp the Shardless, going to trigger the Prodigy, move to combat, swing with the team. Opponent's down to 9 life. Wait, we'll hold up the Logic Knot, and then flash in the Borrower if we need to. Their Rhinos are down to 2, scoop it up, we're up a game. All right, we're going to board in more counter magic, Ratchet Bomb effects, and a Void Mirror. We're going to pull some direct damage, Spreading Seas, our Master Wizard, Fire Ice, and a Magus. Otter Power. All right, as long as we can find a second land, this hand is excellent. We'll keep it. Misty Rainforest, coming our way. Change the equation, play out our Fiery Islet, pass turn. They fetch, Breeding Pool tapped. I'm going to opt right now to play around a Mystical Dispute. Fact or Fiction, we'll put that on the bottom. Find a land, but it enters play tapped, unfortunately. Opponent with a Hallowed Fountain, shock it in. They're at 17. This is going to be an ice. Okay, no ice. That's fine. We're going to play Spikefield Hazard as a land. Okay, ice down our land. That's fine. Okay, they have their 3rd land and don't do anything. A little strange. We draw into a Forgotten Cave. Not really what we're looking for. We'll play Sulphur Falls. Our mana's a little sketchy right now. They fetch, Basic Forest, 3 mana, and an Endurance. I think we're just going to counter that. That's fine. We have the Silex for any Rhinos, so I think we're okay to do this. And they force, which is perfectly fine. Shuffle our Graveyard, Flooded Strand. They have 3 cards in hand. Attack for 3, shock and a Steam Vents. This is going to be a Violent Outburst, most likely. Okay, there it is. They're the Rhinos. We'll take 4, go down to 14. They suspend another Footfalls. It's coming back to us. All right, we draw into a Negate. We're going to play out this Cave, 2 for a Silex, and we're going to pop this now to play around Tidebinder. Rhinos on suspend, down to 3. Opponent with an attack, we're going down to 11. With our hand having 3 counters and 2 bounce spells, it's pretty clear we have the Rhino angle of attack under wraps this game. Not only that, we draw into a Void Mirror, which further controls that part of their game plan. From this point forward, as long as we can manage the Endurance, we should win the game. We spent the next few turns staring at each other with nobody gaining ground, so let's speed things up to the point where this stalemate is broken. Opponent attacks for 3, we're going down to 7 life. They play a land, 1 card in hand. Draw a Ratchet Bomb. Not going to do much. We'll start with combat. Attack for 3. We're going to Izzet Charm, draw 2, discard 2. Those are some good ones. I'm going to get rid of Ratchet Bomb and the Viper. Play out Dreadhorde Arcanist, pass it back. 2 mana from my opponent, fire. 1 at me, 1 at the borrower. That's fine. They attack for 3, down to 3 life. And we draw a Prodigy, which is so good. Oh my gosh, blowing them out right now. Play it out. Move to combat. Our opponent scoops. Alright friends, we're 2-0. Budget Magic for the win. On the play, reveal our Otter. 7 looks great. This doesn't look budget. Start with our Steam Vents. We'll shock. Channeler. Bobble. Trigger the Channeler. That's a combo. Remand on top. I think I'm going to leave that on top. Bobble into play. We'll look at their top card. See a Fiery Islet. They might be doing the same thing we are, or something similar. Opponent just discards a mountain. I'm a little confused. Okay. We draw Underworld Breach. We'll play out our Sulphur Falls. Move to combat. Swing in for 1. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent. We know you have lands in your hand. There's a Scalding Tarn. Fetch. Shock and a Sacred Foundry. Alright, we're playing against Vertigo. Here we go. Goblin Guide. I'm going to respond to this with a Dress Down. Basic Island on top. We'll put that in the graveyard. Dress Down enters play. We'll draw a card. Goblin Guide enters play. No damage. Dress Down to the graveyard. Drawn to a Serum Visions. I think we're going to be firing that one off. Blood Moon. Not really in the market for a Blood Moon right now. Put that in the graveyard. Drawn to a land. Spell Pierce on top. We really like that. We'll put the island on the bottom. Spell Pierce on top. Play our Pathway as a blue source. And I messed up. I should have put the island on top because if they attack with the guide, then I get it. We're going to attack in for 3. Could have had an extra card. Opponent's down 13. Fiery Islet. 2 mana for a Searing Blaze. We would like to remand that. We will leave Spell Pierce on top. Opponent attacks for 2. Unholy Heat revealed. We'll draw into that. We'll handle that Goblin Guide. Move to combat. Swing for 3. Opponent's going down to 9. Let's play out our Snarl. Nothing to reveal. We'll pass back. Second Goblin Guide. Combat. Attack for 4. Lorien revealed on top. Should have cycled the Sandbar in response to the first one. Another mistake. Messing up here. Before damage, we'll heat one of them. And I'm going to put Lorien revealed to the graveyard. Guide is down. We're down to 14 life. Opponent suspends a Rift Bolt. End of turn. We're going to cycle our Sandbar. We draw another land. Draw into a Forgotten Cave. We're going to start with combat. Attack for 3. Opponent's down to 5 life. I'm going to cast this Breach. We'll put an Arcanist into the graveyard. Breach resolves. And we recast Bobble 1, 2, 3, 4 times to draw 4 cards on the next upkeep. Draw 1, Counterflux, Spreading Seas, Island, and Thought Scour. Rift Bolt on suspend. And they're pointing it at me. That is super aggressive. They find their 3rd land. Searing Blaze pointing at the Channeler. We'll Spell Pierce. Trigger the Channeler. Bone Crusher. I think we're going to put that on top. Opponent moves to combat. Attacks for 2. Reveals the Bone Crusher. Before damage, kill the Goblin Guide. Trigger the Channeler. Bone Crusher. Leave it on top. Opponent with Skewer the Critics. Down to 4 life. Hits our Channeler. And back our way. Drawn to the Bone Crusher. We're going to start an basic island. 3 mana Lutri to our hand. We'll leave up the Counterflux. And we'll just pass it back. Opponent with a Swift Spear. I think that's fine. The second Swift Spear. We're going to counter that one. Attacks for 1. We're down 8. Drawn to a Fact or Fiction. Play out the Fiery Islet. We'll stomp, targeting them. On the stack, cast the Otter. Otter resolves. Copy the stomp. Target them. Down to 2. Down to 0. We're up a game. Opponent keeps their 7. This hand's a little slow, but I think we're going to keep it. Inspiring Vantage. Swift Spear. And an attack. We're down to 19. Find a Channeler. Play out our Island and a Preordain. Spreading Seas and Breach. And I think we're just going to put both of those to the bottom. Drawn to a Spell Pierce. Excellent. Basic Mountain. Spike us. We're down to 16. The Rift Bolt. Attack us. We're down to 14. Drawn to an Oliphant. Play out our Sulphur Falls. Unholy Heat. The Swift Spear. Pass back the other way. Rift Bolt. Coming off suspend. Going down to 11. Sunbaked Canyon. And end of turn. We're going to cycle this Oliphant. And I think we're going to get a Steam Vents. Drawn to a Scalding Viper. We'll play out Steam Vents. Tapped. Pass turn back. Opponent draws a card. Alright. And it's kind of crazy, but from this point forward, my opponent hit me with a Boros Charm to put me down to 7 life, and that was where it stopped. It appeared they flooded out hard and could only cobble together 2 more Lightning Bolts over the next 6 turns, which wound up targeting my creatures when they were attacking for lethal. It's funny because this match against Burn ended in a very similar fashion to our first match of the league. Move to combat, swing for 2. They're down to 3 life. Cast a Scalding Viper, stomp them. They're down to 1. Untap, Rift Bolt. Coming off suspend, Scalding Viper is going to trigger, and they're dead. 3-0. So I get yelled at in the comments when I post these brews and make it seem like these decks are the greatest thing ever. That's never my intention, it's only to provide you with entertainment and fun. I even had someone tell me the other day I was being irresponsible, which is kind of hilarious. I will say, in our last 2 matches of this league against Death Shadow and 5-color Creativity, we suffered crushing defeats and never really got the ground under us. The presence of Teferi out of Creativity was especially hard to handle, and our league ended staring down 3 Archon of Cruelty on the other side of the table. This deck was a lot of fun, and actually competed with a lot of Modern's top tier decks in testing, but might lack in consistency and power level to truly be on the same plane as most of the decks in the format. But if you're looking to start playing Modern and want to do so on a budget, this isn't a terrible place to start. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm checking out, but don't worry, I'll be back soon. Until then, you know the deal. Be well, my friend.